Hey guys, Brick Stuff here, and today I'm going to be doing kind of like a tutorial slash, pretty much just a tutorial video, and basically I had asked how do you make the plate carriers like on this guy, where he's got the plate carrier with all this stuff on it, and what you're going to need is one of these kind of vests. They're usually newer, so you might need a newer set. And it kind of just looks like a small micro rig slash plate carrier looking thing. And then you're going to need I think this is based off of an IOTV, just like that standard American like just chest plate with a little flag patch right there. And you're just going to need 2 of these and 1 of these. And then you're also going to need 3 of these, which is this little leg part right here. You're gonna need 3 of those, that little like drop pouch or drop leg pouch or whatever. You're gonna need 3 of those. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take something like something that can cut pretty well. Like for example, if you have a Swiss Army knife that has one of those little scissors on it, or really any kind of scissor that's really sharp. And it didn't work too well in my experience, but what you can do is you can take these and you can use this little, it's like just pliers, like a multi-tool, just gerber, whatever you want to call it. And so you just need anything that's like sharp and won't like deviate, like it will cut precisely. So it's not just like a regular scissor where the 2 blades, when they go together, they'll bend kind of like when you try to cut something hard. But you're just going to need to cut on these things. You're going to cut along that line right there. So there's the first line, second line, third line. So you're going to want to cut along the third line right underneath that, or kind of like overlapping onto the bottom of this like circle where the pegs will go through for the backpack. So as you can see, it will be 3 lines of MOLLE, and depending on what you can use, because what you can also do is, like what I did with this guy, is I actually used the kind of, like, waist rig thing. I don't know that I have one anymore from me taking them all apart to make chest rigs, but it's like the same principle, and it's around the same size, as you can see, just with 3 of those versus that. Like same, it's like the same width pretty much, and you just need 2 of those. But mainly I use these ones because they tend to look more like actual MOLLE straps, although they are a little bit thinner and more prone to breaking. Although I've noticed that if you use specifically the best glue ever, in my opinion, again, Gorilla Gel, like super glue gel, this is my favorite glue and I actually kind of ran out, so I need to buy more, but it is ridiculous. I mean, like, I've used this so many times, and just, like, I mean, I can not really, like, I can drop this guy, and it won't break or anything, and I'll show you later with one of the guns that I have, and it's very, very cool. But basically, you're just going to need 2 of these, cut those off, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take this thing, and you're going to take some kind of, like, file. Like I use just this like fingernail filing thing, where you're supposed to file your nails down, but I mainly just use this for these because I don't find the need to file my own fingernails. Basically, you're just going to file or sand down these like pegs that stick out that are normally for putting on the mag pouches, like on this guy, where it's got like kind of a heavier dual mag pouch. But for the plate carrier, it looks a lot better in my opinion to add the triple mag pouch that's just very like thin and very close to like the figure. It's just kind of like form-fitting. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take these things right here, and you're going to take the same type of cutting tool. Again, these work a lot better because it's a thinner thing that you have to cut, but you're just going to need to cut along the line on the sides so that it's just this little mag pouch thing. And then, as you can see, you're going to take whatever glue you have. It's preferable that you have some kind of like glue gel or like some kind of like super like strong glue, so because if you're going to use the figure or whatever, unless you give them a stand, that doesn't, like if you just have them like for display, then it doesn't really matter. But if you're planning on using them or playing with them or whatever, or moving them around, like, it's better to have a stronger glue. And then what you're going to do is you're going to glue 3 of them, 1 in the center and then 2 on the sides. And you want to make sure to leave a little bit of space so that these things on the side will be able to be glued on there. And then you're going to do, in the next step, you're going to just take the 2 pieces of molly, like the side straps, and then you're just going to put those along here. And just, you have to make sure that this is already on the figure. And keep in mind that once you do this, you will not be able to take it off. It's just going to be, like, on there forever. I mean, unless you plan to break it off or whatever, it's staying on there. And so, basically, you just want to glue those on there. But see, I just put pressure right here. I just went like this and to put on the backpack, and it did not do anything. I mean, these have been on there for a while now. But basically, you just want to put those on there and then glue them on, and then you just want to wait a little bit. But as you can see, there is a little bit of area where it kind of goes through, like there's a little bit of space, whereas on the other type with this, it's much thinner, and I mean, you can just barely see a little bit of light coming through there, but it's a lot tighter if you want that kind of fit where it's not really, like, I mean, you can hold it by the side. And this one I was lucky to get it able to move around a little bit because it didn't end up actually gluing onto the figure, so that's kind of cool that it's like a little bit loose, which is more realistic. But most of the time it's going to end up gluing onto the figure and you're not going to be able to move it off, but that's alright because, I mean, you can't really take it off anyways. And so that's really going to be it for the plate carrier. I wish I had an example plate carrier that was separate, but I'm kind of low on supply. And so then on to the next part of the video. I'm going to go over a couple of cool guns that you can make just with random pieces, and it makes them look a lot better than just the standard, like, Mega Bloks guns. Like, for example, just this MP5 on this kind of, like, militia guy that I have right here. It's just kind of a MP5, kind of boring. So what you can do is, for example, this, I haven't painted it yet, so it looks a little bit kind of shabby, and also it's kind of dirty, but basically this is eventually going to be painted either mostly black or partly black and then part gray. And so this is kind of like a DML, like a kind of like SPR, special purpose rifle, which is like it's chambered in like a regular like rifle caliber, like an M4, but it's meant for longer ranges and like it has a bigger barrel or whatever. And so basically you just need the barrel from that like advanced warfare kind of gun. Not really sure what it's called, but it's just the strange looking barrel. And then you need a suppressor, a foregrip that goes on the bottom, just a regular magazine, a regular receiver, and I think it looks best with an M4 stock, which usually comes on the rifles that they kind of look like a Dragunov, and they've got like a drum mag. It's weird. It's got like a Dragunov barrel, but then it's got a drum mag and an M4 stock. And I'm not really sure what they were trying to base it off of, but that's probably the best mag in my opinion, or best stock that you can have out of all of the Mega Bloks figures or guns. And then you take the scope off of the same gun, which looks, in my opinion, quite a bit like an ACOG or some kind of like ACOG style sight instead of just specifically the Trijicon one. And I think it looks pretty cool as a kind of like just medium range scope. And I think this looks really good on a figure that you're like really going to gear up or have like with a lot of gear, make them look really cool and better than just again, like a standard just Mega Bloks figure, because I think it's more interesting to have them have like a lot of gear like this or something like that. And so then for the next gun, I have an AK, AKM, AK-47, whatever, it doesn't really matter, but basically this one is going to have a little bit of more custom job with, again, some kind of file or sandpaper or whatever you have. And so this one, first of all, you're going to need it. I don't remember what set it comes in, but it comes with a brown stock, brown like entire, so this entire front barrel part used to be brown. I think the middle's gray, and the magazine is brown, and as well as the scope is brown. So you're going to need to find that. Hopefully you have one, or what you can do is you can do the opposite of this and paint the actual handguard in the stock, whereas I painted the black onto this. And so you're just going to paint around the handguard so that it looks like the wood is there and not on the barrel. And then you're going to have to shave down the stock a little bit to get that in there. And what you're going to do is you're going to just sand down the top of this thing so that it doesn't have the rail showing like on, again, I'm going to use this as an example, like this. It's the same receiver, but what you're going to do is you're going to use that file and just go along the top of the gun like that, just over and over again. And then you're eventually going to get to around this level where it's even with the rear iron sight, which is back here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to shave it down kind of like diagonally so that it's like right there, because the AK isn't just a square gun, it's got like an angle on the side, and it just kind of makes it look a little bit better from the side instead of just being without the rail. And then you're going to shave it down again diagonally right here so that it kind of has that dust covered look. And then I lowered the stock. I just shaved down the actual like peg, like for example on a stock like this. On a stock like this, you're just going to shave down the bottom right there so that it will sit lower, because right now this would probably sit around there. What you do is you're going to shave it down so that it sits like that, kind of how I did with this stock. And so then you end up having an AK looking gun, and then I shaved down this a little bit to give it more like shape of an AK. I don't really know, but yeah, basically you're just gonna have to do that, and then you have a really good looking, in my opinion, AK. And with the next gun, this is again a work in progress, because I am going to eventually turn this into a holographic, which I will show on one of my AKs. But one thing that's disappointing is I don't have a tan M4 stock, so I just had to stick with the SCAR or ACR. I'm not really sure what this, I think it's based off of an ACR. It's just like this adjustable stock. And then the custom part is you take a laser, and they usually come with like the night vision sets, or some of the like more like geared up like figures, like some, I think one comes with the set that comes with the Eurocopter EC-135 with like Hesh, or no, not Hesh, Merrick from Ghosts. And you're just going to want to take that thing, and you need an M4. And it is a little bit small compared to the real thing, because the real thing extends all the way up to this point right here on the barrel. And I probably in the future, if I ever make more of these, I will extend this thing just further, because there is a little trigger like guard right here. But you just want to glue the, I actually sanded down the top part of it where that little rail is, so you can slide into guns. You're just going to want to like shave that off and then just glue this on here. So for the next gun, I have an example that I wanted to show, but this is basically, I think I already had this on a gun, and I tried to make a foregrip, but it kind of failed, although it is hidden when the character grabs the gun like this, or the figure. And so basically this has a custom ACOG sight, which I think looks really cool. And that's what I'm planning on doing with this. So you basically just take a reversed red dot, and then you just like sand down so it's more square shaped, and then you need like a little piece of plastic that you can cut and fold, and then you can just fold it over and glue it onto there. And yeah, this is pretty much just an AK-12 kind of design, like kind of like an AK-74, but just with extra like modern parts. And you just need the stock that goes in that futuristic shotgun, because it looks quite like the AK-12 stock. And then a PBS-4 or PBS-1 suppressor. It's basically just the AK suppressor. It's a little bit bigger. And yeah, that's all you need for that. And then for my next gun, the PKP. And for this one, it's a lot modded. So what you need is you need the, I guess it's like an LSAT, I'm not really sure, but it's this barrel, which is what I was talking about. And it's normally like that on the gun, like a Dragunov kind of, I'm not really sure what it is, but for this one you need to cut very precisely off of the iron sight and flip it over. Then you need plastic pieces. I just got mine off of a old chest rig that was one of these, and I just kind of cut like a very small piece off of it to get these two, and then this is already on there for some reason, that little plastic piece right there. And then you just need a second little square, which I got from cutting one of these pegs off, because either way I needed to get it off to make a plate carrier. And then you need again, just a piece of the ILTV as the top, like, feed tray, I guess. And then just a regular MP5 stock, just cut out the middle and then put it in there. And then you just need the machine gun box with the belt. And that's all you need for that. And you need glue, obviously, to put all those on there. And this did take quite a while, so it might be pretty difficult for people who are just beginning in customs. For the next gun, a fairly similar gun. It's more in the LMG class than the GPMG, but it's an M249 with an ACOG scope. And all you need for this is the Spaz 12 like barrel, although in my opinion it looks pretty much like the M249 in just scale, and it seems like in some of the sets they already come prepared to be a LMG, like this one came like this. And so you just need the little sight from the Advanced Warfare sets, and you just need a bipod, and just put that right there. And then it works perfectly for figures like this, where you have them as a machine gunner, which I think looks really cool. And he kind of looks like a Marine, I guess. I'm not really sure. It's got a strange camo, but it doesn't really matter. Just cool. And so, for my next gun, and the final gun actually, it's the, what do you call it, Mark 11 or M110 or SR25, whatever you want to call it. It's a little bit short, and it kind of looks more like an M16A4 with a shorter barrel and a scope and a small mag. But this works very well for a sniper or like a scout or whatever, because it's kind of like a DMR. And basically all you need for this is you need just the scope that comes usually on AKs for some reason. It's just a really small scope. And yes, I know the paint is coming off here, and as well as here. And then you just need the M4 barrel and the M16 stock and a small little magazine for the 7.62 rounds or the 308 rounds. And then it basically just ends up looking like a Mark 11 or SR25, which works very well with, again, snipers or scouts or whatever. And so that's it for this video with all my tutorials and customs and whatever. And I hope you guys were either like learned something or figured out how to build something if you didn't already know. And if you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And I'll see you guys in the next video.